I have APD, an auditory processing disorder. When I was a kid, I had frequent ear infections, which led to minor hearing loss, but I can hear fine now. Now it's thought that my frequent ear infections and hearing loss hindered my ability to learn to process spoken word accurately. So physically, I can hear you, I just can't understand what you're saying. Experiences vary from person to person, but I've tried my best to mimic what APD is like for me. So let's say I'm at a crowded Christmas party. The whole extended family is there, and enough people are jammed into the house that I can't even make it outside to find my siblings and watch them lose at foosball. I retreat to a corner in hopes of spotting my mom, as I only feel the beat of the holiday music. Suddenly, I'm accosted by a second cousin that I only remember because she offered me a beer at last year's Christmas party, which I adamantly declined. So let's say she asked me, "So do you have any plans for New Year's Eve?" But with the holiday jingles that just seem to be getting louder and louder, the clatter of plastic utensils devouring the 7 fishes, and the sporadic and distant cheer of my siblings and cousins that I so desperately want to locate, the words jumbled together, so I hear something more like this. "Alors, have any plans for ce vif?" So here's the fun part. Trying to decipher this encoded message in a time that is socially acceptable to stop and think about an answer. Let's say around 10 seconds. First is context clues. Is she offering me a beer again? I didn't hear anything that resembled beer or drink, but that's always an option. It's in a dark room, so I can't really rely on reading her lips like I usually do. Secondly, I have to think, what did I hear? Well, I didn't hear any real words per se, but I did hear something that sounds suspiciously like Stephanie, and another thing that sounded just like Steve. Now, these happen to be the names of my mom and my brother. Could be a coincidence, but I'm running out of time, so I bite the bullet.
Yeah, I was just looking for them, actually.
And you always add the laugh at the end for good measure. She stares at me. I stare back.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I think I messed up. I cringe as I hear that one. The same year I got diagnosed with APD, I attended a Sweet 16 party. A girl I knew from grade school came up to me on the dance floor and started talking a mile a minute. So I smiled and nodded. That night when I went home, I told my mom that she wasn't speaking English. It was something else entirely. I'm traditionally dyslexic as well, but that's a topic for a whole other video. And the point I'm trying to make is that the best analogy I've ever heard for APD is that it's like dyslexia for your ears. My eyes can see just fine with contacts in, the same way my ears can hear just fine. My brain just can't take in the information and put it out as something that makes sense. I have to do the work for it. We with APD have to work twice as hard just to get through the day. It can be exhausting, definitely. There's no cure, but there can be coping methods if you catch it early enough. So, here's the deal. Be patient with us. Sometimes we may not be able to understand what you're saying, but we'll sit in the corner at a party with you, and we'll listen, and we'll decipher, and we'll say the wrong things all night, gladly, if you just give us a chance. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, I'm glad to answer them in the comments below.